WeeklyPay ETFs can pay fast, but they can also move fast. And if you've held them long enough, you already know exactly what I mean. The income shows up quickly, sometimes weekly, sometimes aggressively, and at first it feels like you've cracked the code. Cash flow without waiting months or years. But the part that doesn't get talked about enough is how quickly the risk shows up too. Prices move fast, sentiment flips fast, and if you're not careful, your portfolio can quietly become fragile without you realizing it. After running weekly pay ETFs for a while, this is how I'd reduce risk without killing growth. I'm not talking about abandoning income or going fully conservative. I'm talking about rebuilding structure. And in this video, I'll walk you through exactly how I'd build a safer ETF portfolio, step by step after weekly pay ETFs, based on what I've learned the hard way. For a long time, my portfolio was built around income first. Weekly pay ETFs felt like the smartest move because they solved an immediate problem. They created cash flow. They made the portfolio feel productive. Every week felt like progress, and psychologically that matters more than people admit. When you see payouts hitting your account regularly, it's easier to stay invested. It's easier to stay motivated, and it's easier to feel like you're doing something right. But over time, I realized that income alone doesn't equal safety. In fact, sometimes it hides risk rather than reducing it. What changed for me wasn't a single bad week or a single drawdown. It was a pattern. During calm markets, weekly pay ETFs felt fine. During strong markets, they felt even better. But during choppy or sideways markets, something felt off. The income kept coming, but the portfolio itself wasn't getting stronger. It wasn't becoming more resilient, and that's when I started asking better questions, not about yield, but about structure. The first thing I had to accept was that weekly pay ETFs are tools, not foundations. They're designed to generate income, often using strategies that involve higher volatility, derivatives, or concentrated exposure. There's nothing inherently wrong with that, but it does mean they shouldn't be carrying the entire weight of a portfolio. When income ETFs become the core, everything depends on them continuing to work perfectly, and markets don't work that way. So the goal shifted. Instead of asking how to maximize weekly income, I started asking how to build a portfolio that could survive different environments without forcing me to constantly react. That's where the idea of a safer portfolio really begins. Safety doesn't mean no risk. It means controlled risk. It means knowing which parts of your portfolio are supposed to grow, which parts are supposed to generate income, and which parts are there simply to stabilize everything else. The first layer I rebuilt was the core. This is the part of the portfolio that doesn't need to be exciting. It doesn't need to pay weekly. It doesn't need to outperform every year. Its job is to capture long-term market growth, stay diversified, and reduce the need for decision-making. This is where broad market ETFs come in. Funds that track large segments of the market, spread risk across hundreds or thousands of companies, and benefit from long-term economic growth rather than short-term trading strategies. What makes a core ETF safer isn't just diversification, it's simplicity. There's no need to time entries every week. There's no need to watch payouts. You're not dependent on options premiums or volatility staying elevated. You're simply participating in long-term growth. And once that core is in place, everything else becomes easier to manage because the portfolio no longer relies on income ETFs to do jobs they weren't designed for. After the core comes the income layer. This is where weekly pay ETFs still have a role, but a much more defined one. Instead of being the foundation, they become a supplement. Their job is to generate cash flow, not to drive total returns. That distinction matters more than it sounds. When income is supplemental, you're not emotionally dependent on it. If payouts fluctuate, the portfolio doesn't feel broken. If prices move sideways, you're not forced to make changes out of stress. This is one of the biggest mistakes I almost made early on. I expected weekly pay ETFs to be both income generators and long-term growth engines at the same time. That expectation creates constant disappointment. Once I separated those roles, the pressure disappeared. Income ETFs can now do what they do best without being blamed for what they're not meant to do. The next layer is what I call the buffer. This part doesn't always get talked about, but it's critical for safety. A buffer can be cash, low volatility ETFs, or even defensive assets that don't move aggressively with the market. The purpose isn't to maximize returns, it's to give you flexibility. When markets drop, this layer gives you options. You're not forced to sell income ETFs at bad prices. You're not forced to touch your core. You can wait, rebalance, or deploy capital intentionally rather than emotionally. Once I added a buffer, my behavior changed more than my returns. I stopped checking prices constantly. I stopped feeling like every red day required action. That alone made the portfolio safer because the biggest risk most investors face isn't the market, it's themselves. Now let's talk about how these layers work together in real life. Imagine a volatile period where markets are moving sideways. WeeklyPay ETFs are still paying, but prices aren't trending higher. In my old setup, that would create tension. I'd feel okay because of the income, but uneasy because nothing was compounding. In the new setup, the core continues to quietly do its job. The income layer provides optional cash flow, and the buffer prevents forced decisions. No single ETF is responsible for saving the entire portfolio. In a strong market, the core captures growth. Income ETFs still pay, but they're no longer expected to outperform. In a weak market, income helps soften the emotional impact, while the core holds steady. This balance doesn't eliminate risk, but it spreads it in a way that's manageable. I also had to rethink how much complexity I was comfortable with. Weekly pay strategies can be complex under the hood. That's fine if you understand them, but complexity adds another layer of risk. A safer portfolio doesn't eliminate complexity entirely, but it limits how much of the portfolio depends on it. When most of your capital sits in straightforward, transparent ETFs, the overall system becomes easier to trust. One thing I want to be clear about is that this isn't about turning your back on income. It's about putting income in its proper place. Weekly pay ETFs are powerful tools when used correctly. They can fund reinvestment, cover expenses, or simply provide psychological comfort. But they're not replacements for a core. And once you accept that, you stop forcing them to carry weight they were never meant to carry. If I had to rebuild from scratch today after running weekly pay ETFs, I'd start with the core first, even if it feels slow. I'd make sure the majority of the portfolio is anchored in long-term growth. Then I'd layer income on top in a controlled way. And only after that would I consider higher risk strategies. This order matters. When you reverse it, the portfolio feels exciting early on but unstable later. A safer ETF portfolio isn't about predicting the next market move. It's about building something that doesn't require perfect timing to succeed. It's about reducing the chances that one bad decision or one bad year derails everything. And most importantly, it's about creating a structure you can stick with when markets test your patience. If this way of thinking about ETFs helped you, make sure to like the video, subscribe to Money Stick Unfiltered, and I'll see you in the next one.